We're going to come along. I'll do the same again. I'll send out the recording as soon as it's compressed itself. I'll send it out by email tonight. So how did everybody get on with day 3's tasks? Anyone want to? Big thumbs up there from Kevin, which is good. I assume you're all, lots of you taking part in the posting challenge, which was really good. Did you get some good results from that? Did you get some increased reach?
Just gonna have a look.
Not really. I couldn't get to Kevin's. It came up as no restricted audience.
Oh. Sorry about that.
Do you post it only to first tier connections, Kevin?
Probably yes.
Yeah, need to post to everyone.
Ah.
It's a little realized feature on LinkedIn. You can actually restrict who you send your messages to, so it only goes to your connections, not to a wider audience.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's well. The reason I do that is mainly because because of the compliance regulations that I have to adhere to within my network marketing business. So.
Yeah, but your connections haven't gone through any more legal vetting or formal vetting than anybody else on LinkedIn. So I don't think that's a really valid rationale for doing that.
Well, you might think so, but
Have they told you that's what you've got to do?
With regards to talking to people, I'm not allowed to cold call individuals. I can cold call companies. So
yeah, but LinkedIn isn't cold calling.
Well, if it's getting a message out to people that I'm not connected with, then they could technically say that that's. I can find out whether that's something that I perhaps could sort of deal with. I'll have a word with one of my senior business partners.
Surely just posting a post isn't cold calling anyway.
No, absolutely.
You're just giving them permission to look at your stuff, and they can choose whether they do that. That's not exactly a cold call, is it?
Yeah. You don't when you go.
I'll sort it. I'll have a word and get back to you with as to what the result is. And if if I was wrong, then I apologise. And if I'm right, then sorry,
if
can't change it
again, Kevin. We'll know what happened, mate. You went in the masher.
So Emma, did you put yours out as an article? Didn't you?
I did, because that way I could put bolds and headings and images.
Yeah. The problem is with articles, they get very little reach.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, LinkedIn, despite giving you all the features in articles and actually encouraging people to create newsletters, which are really just a series of articles, they don't get anything like as much reach as a post.
Interesting.
So the articles are great for creating cornerstone copy that you might want to refer to. And then I always say, if you're going to write an article, write it, and then over the next few days, write posts about a certain aspect of that article, and maybe refer to the article and put a link to the article. But the posts will get a lot more traction than an article will. A lot more traction.
Good learning.
Yeah. I mean, the newsletter is slightly different because people subscribe to that. And mine's up near. I was quite surprised actually. My newsletter subscriptions almost doubled in the last 2 weeks, which I was very pleased with. So that's going good.
Up to 4 now then.
Sorry, Keith, I missed that.
I said you're up to 4 now then. Well done.
Up to 4, yeah. We need 500 actually. It's getting close to 500. Well, it was 479, I think, last time I looked yesterday. It's
interesting the discussion we had with Jeremy when I said, LinkedIn newsletters are set up to be to turn your articles into a series of articles. But actually, as Emma said, you can actually format them and you could make them actually a newsletter. It doesn't have to be a white paper type of on one topic, does it? You could actually make it something a little bit more, visually interesting and appealing and just general newslettery rather than a series of articles, it's just like subscribing to a series of articles, isn't it? Newsletters.
Yeah. I mean, you can make your newsletter whatever you want it to be.
Exactly.
I know somebody that does have a newsletter that they put a sort of like a contents at the start of the newsletter. All the things they're going to cover in the newsletter, and there'll be a wide variety of different topics they cover.
So magazine style, that's a great idea. I think that, you know, that's the coming thing, isn't it? Got to be.
It's another approach. Yeah. So far, mine have all focused on one topic at a time. My 3 editions, but there's no reason why it won't be a multiple sort of topics in one edition in future editions.
Well, that allows you to curate stuff. Then you become a curator. You become a magazine editor rather than an article writer, which allows you to bring in immense amounts of variety of stuff. Plus, once you start including other people's stuff in it, their constituency of subscribers and followers and connections all then get pointed towards your newsletters if you do it that way.
Yeah. Another valuable way of using articles is to use them as a virtual digital business card. There's lots of people out there selling digital business cards now, but you can actually create your own using a LinkedIn article and put all sorts of links and references in there, and yeah, it's very easy to do. In fact, I must get around to doing it.
Cool.
So easy.
Cobbler's shoes, Alan. It's cool.
Yes, indeed. Not a lot going on at the moment. Hi, Jane. Welcome.
Sorry, I'm late. I went for a walk a bit late.
That's okay. That's okay. It's perfectly allowed.
You need to walk faster, darling.
Oh, lovely. It's really nice.
So, anyone got any challenges or questions from what you had to do today or from any of the earlier days? Are we all ready to go tomorrow morning and start making those messages to certain connections? Have we got our connections identified?
So I've created the list of people that might have some interest, but it's not like a normal 3-line journal, a 3-line email where you're going back to someone who's previously expressed an interest, right? Because they haven't. These are previous connections from a different life. So I think I probably need to use a slightly different approach to warm people up first.
Right. I'd keep it to a 3-line email.
Yeah.
But instead of are you still interested in, change it to would you be interested in?
Yeah.
Because it's the idea is to keep it really, really basic, to just get them to express an interest. So you don't waste time on people that are not really interested, and you don't hack off people that are not really interested at this point in time. That's the key.
Emma, you could say something like, long time no talk, would you like to catch up?
No.
You could. That would drive them to your profile.
Yeah. I'll do that separately. That's not the objective of this 3-line message. That's not going to engender them to be potential buyers. It might get you a catch-up call, but I'd do that separately in a different way. So we're all ready to go tomorrow morning, are we? Everybody got some connections that are going to send messages to?
So I've started too early, have I? Because I've sent 12 messages already.
Oh, you sent 12 already, right? Have you had any responses yet?
I had one response, and he said, "Oh, next time I've got a mediation, I'll consider you."
Right. Okay. So yeah. So is it somebody you've dealt with before, Jane? No. Okay. So make sure
I'm only using people that I've connected with messages already who are first in the first connections lot.
Yeah, you can't message directly to second tiers or other.
There's been some kind of previous exchange, so
yeah.
Reminder that I'm here, and it's just a one-liner, really.
Yeah. Okay. So in that instance there, where they've said yes, I'll consider you next time. Your trick now is to make sure you stay front of mind with them, and the way to do that is have them on your list of people you regularly go and visit, and have a look at their profile and have a look at their posts, and just give them the odd like or comment.
Yeah. So that's the next stage, isn't it? Like
that way you keep front of mind in them. Yeah. So that's part of your that's where they say no, or no thanks, or no, not now. That's your customer journey for those people to keep front of mind of them.
Yes. And that my other question, I think the email, I can't remember. When I was looking at who I was going to go to and looking at them, I noticed that I think one of the first 15 on my list, 2 of them I didn't go for because one's a repeat at the same firm, and the other one, I see that I've messaged him earlier this year and he's not replied. And
Right.
that's an indication, you know, that's kind of like, I don't want to know you, isn't it? It's probably not worth barking up that tree. Would you agree with that, or should I send a second message?
I would say that they're a secondary potential rather than the top priority. Could be that they are not very active on LinkedIn, and so by the time they got to look at your message, they decided not to reply because it was too long ago. But if they're not very active on LinkedIn, they might not see your current message either. So it really depends on how active they are on LinkedIn. The way to assess that is to go to their activity and see if they're liking and commenting on other people's stuff, and see when they last did something. Quite often you don't get a response from somebody. You go to their activity feed and you see they haven't done anything on LinkedIn for over a month, and you realize that actually they don't go on there very often. In which case, you know, they're not really a great connection to have in your tribe, really, because it's not going to engage.
This is actually about finding my real target audience. As you know, I have a real struggle about my target audience because you know, you don't know who's got a conflict, and your target audience is really anybody who's suffering a conflict and not knowing what to do about it. And then I can get a chat, and once I get a chat with somebody, I usually get the deal, but it's always a problem. But there is one other thing I want to say, if nobody minds me carrying on speaking for a bit longer.
Yep, go on.
I felt deep sadness when after I'd done my post. Of course, I forgot, having done it all in beautiful colours, bright things like Keith's, like he always does. Of course, LinkedIn puts it all in black and white, and I've totally forgotten that. So it's just in black and white, but that's too late by then to redo it. But it was beautiful before LinkedIn got hold of it.
I don't understand that. What's happened?
I prepared what my little piece that I said under my 2 fighting hippos was, in beautiful shades and colours.
Oh, you did the text. Oh, you formatted the text.
I formatted the whole text.
Oh,
Lovely colours and different types. And you did still get bigger and smaller print, but it just ruined it because before it was, you know, completed inset colours and.
Yep.
Well, you could do that in an article, Jane, and then link to the article if you really.
Well, you can't change colours in the article. You can't change colours of text.
That wasn't what I wanted to say. The sadness was that I looked and I haven't posted for 8 months because that's the length of time I haven't been back with you, Alan, because it took me 2 months to get ready to sell in QandA, and then I've been homeless for 6 months, living somewhere else in a small room where everything is a mess behind me. And so I just haven't been doing LinkedIn posts like I was. So it's nice to be back with guys.
It's good to have you back,
participate. And you notice my priority is to ask you all a question so that you have to engage, and then you have to respond and answer my question because it gets us going. And then to go around and like everything. But that was my question. As like has stopped getting so many links, hasn't it? Just liking something.
Well, I always I look at if you think about the sort of scale of engagement, if somebody sees your post in the newsfeed, that's a view, and that's the lowest level of engagement. They've seen your post, it's registered as a view. They may or may not have really read it, but it's appeared in their newsfeed and they've at least scrolled across it. The next level of engagement is liking it, which is okay, and it's good that people like it because it does count towards the algorithm. The next level up from that is for somebody to have actually clicked on and chosen one of the other reactions, so a support or the frown or the light bulb or whatever, because that means that they've taken actually the trouble to find the right emoji to express how they're really feeling about your post. So that's definitely a notch up on the engagement front. But the real sign of engagement is when people comment, because that shows that they are really interested. Having said that, I have had plenty of situations where people have been reading posts, not commenting, not even liking, and then 3-6 months down the line, get a message from saying, I really enjoy your posts. Have you got time for a chat? Because I really need some help. And it comes completely out of the blue. You think, well, where did that come from? And it's because they're in that early stage, like a low level engagement, in that they view your post, but they don't actually do anything with it. And often it's because they fear that if they actually do anything with your post, that you'll start bombarding them with sales messages. And because you've left them alone, then when they're ready, they come back to you. So
I think that's partly it.
How it's going to work, how well it works.
I think, I'm sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
Just to go back to, what you're saying about the formatting and everything, Jane, I don't know the extent to which, Alan, or Keith, because I know you both know a little bit about this, how the Lingo Jam would have helped, because I actually used the Lingo Jam to format my first line in bold.
Yeah, there are various sort of graphics generators that you can use to paste your text into and get it to create an image, and you can put that into your post. It's not searchable though. It doesn't register as far as LinkedIn's concerned. It's an anomaly, and it doesn't register. It doesn't make it searchable, but it will highlight your stuff. So I've used bold in the past. I use special characters in there that you can paste in to break up the text and highlight the text, but it's not searchable.
And it takes up more characters as well. Should there be a character limit involved? It's
the character limit's gone up though. So it used to be more of an issue when there was only 1,500 characters for a post. Now there's 3,000 characters for a post. It shouldn't be an issue. So you can use that sort of technique to bring some formatting into your posts.
And you can post images that are text. So you can actually create a panel of nice colorful text and put it in as image, which people then have to read. But of course, again, as Alan says, not searchable.
Yeah. So that's a failure. You could, what I like to do a lot of, and I didn't do it today because I didn't have time, is I create a carousel which has, somewhere between 4 and 10 slides. And this is something I suggested to Tracy. And I think, Tracy, that seemed to really work well in your post. I don't know what level of interaction you got, or whether you got a lot of views from it, but it seemed to
547. I don't know how many interactions.
So so you can create and have, in the PowerPoint slide, you can format your text till the cows come home, and then because it's a PowerPoint slide deck, it creates a sort of scrolling carousel that people can scroll through, and then I would repeat a more detailed description of what the carousel is about in the text version. So that way you sort of get two shots at the same thing.
Alan, can I just ask you about alt text? Would that help with the, you're saying an image doesn't actually pick up anything, LinkedIn doesn't pick it up. If you put some alt text in there, does that help with that?
Alt text works with a single image, but if you're doing a carousel, you can't put an alt text on each image. It doesn't. That doesn't work because it's a document. You do get your chance to name the document, which is searchable. So you should think about using the right keywords in your document name when you're using it, but it wouldn't be an alternate text for the image.
And also articles probably are going to be found by Google, whereas posts never will be. So articles have got that little virtue. It's not massive, but it's worth having.
Posts do get found by Google, and articles do as well, because they all have unique URLs now. So they do all get found, but the danger is, and you have to be careful about this, and I see a lot of people put the same content on their website in an article, and then word for word copies of the parts of the article in posts, and then they do the same on Facebook as well. And what Google said, immediately Google sees identical wording in the same order that it can read. It says, duplicate text. I'm going to discount all of this, and so it ignores all of it from an SEO perspective. So you do have to be wary of duplicate content, because Google and the other search engines are wary of people gaming the system by reusing exactly the same stuff in multiple different places. That's something to be aware of. Any other comments or questions? Emma, did that answer your question? You were going to, I think, raise something.
Oh, I was just going to make another comment about why people sometimes don't like or comment, is that you then get lots of notifications of other people liking or commenting on that post. And if you don't want to be bombarded, you don't go there.
Right. Well, there's an easy way to stop that. Because if you go to the first notification you get and you click on the 3 little dots, you can mute that post so that you don't then get bombarded with everybody else's like and comment on it. Otherwise, you do end up with a stream that you're trying to catch up with. Yeah.
And you and I might know that, but somebody else might not, and then just not go there.
Yeah. I have posted about it before and had lots of people say, "Oh, thanks for that," but then not use it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, LinkedIn doesn't allow you to set that as a default, which is a shame, because if you could default to that, then that would be fantastic. But it doesn't allow you to default to that.
Yeah, because it's different to Facebook, for example, because Facebook will give you notifications if someone else comments on something you commented on, but it won't give you notifications if somebody else has liked something you've liked.
Yeah.
It goes to one extra level, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and it is a bit of a pain. It's one area where I'd like LinkedIn to catch up with Facebook. It's one of the few areas, but yeah. Any other questions or comments on the challenge so far?
What did everybody get? How many posts? I mean, have we done that already?
1 or 2 people have mentioned. I don't know if anybody else wants to share the scores on the doors from their posts.
Did anybody get past 1,000?
Nah.
I'm
about the same as Tracy. About the same.
I'm 717.
Yeah.
204 for me, which is disappointing from my point of view.
Yeah, Kevin, yours felt a bit like a sales pitch, which would put people off, to be honest. It did feel a bit like a sales pitch. There are ways of rephrasing that to make it less salesy, where you're talking about an opportunity for a business to save money or do something without it coming across quite as such a sales pitch. It's a fine line, but it can actually really impact the reach you get, as it does put people off.
I'm surprised how relatively few views my post got, bearing in mind that there were 16 likes and what have you, and 34 comments. The views so far is only 153.
Yep.
Which is
that is disappointing, John.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I would have expected more.
Yeah. I'm not sure how many mine's up at the moment, but it's certainly much less. Today's post is less than I'd normally get. But then I normally post at 11 o'clock in the morning rather than 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I don't know if that might have had an impact, really.
It could do.
Lots of activity seems to take place in the morning, finish at lunchtime.
Normally when I'm running our 15 in 2 challenges for the mastermind group, we run them in the morning 11 till 1. So I'm up at 232 views at the moment, whereas my post last Wednesday at 11 o'clock was sitting at around 1,700. I think. Let's go back and see if I can find it. Where is it? No, it's not that one. The wrong thing. That's that one, the bucket, doesn't it? Yes. So my leaky bucket post got 1,716 views. So yeah, could have been timing. Unfortunately, I was with a client prospect this morning, so I couldn't run it at 11 o'clock. Slightly bad planning, but that meeting had been in the diary for some time. Okay, so but either way, all of you have got a post that's had some good level of engagement, lots of comments, lots of likes. Even if the views aren't as high, the comments and likes will stand out like a sore thumb, which is good. So when you start sending out your messages tomorrow morning, then hopefully if anyone goes to look at your profile, they will get a positive view from your profile. So I'll send out an email tomorrow morning to remind you about the format of the message and to crack on and do it, and do somewhere between 20 and 30 tomorrow, and then save a few for the following day. And then let's get together again tomorrow afternoon and see if you're getting any responses and see what sort of responses you're getting.
Can I just say that for me, I'm going to have to suspend the challenge.
Yeah, you're traveling tomorrow, aren't you?
Yes, this time tomorrow I'll have just got off a plane in Lanzarote, all being well.
Yes,
so it's that my ability to follow up on messages is means it's probably better to postpone until I get back. It's
probably better for you to wait until you're able to follow up, because you do need to be able to, if somebody comes back and says yes, I'm interested, you want to be able to respond pretty quickly. So I wouldn't start sending messages out that you're not able to respond to when people reply. Yeah, so maybe hold up until early next week.
And for that reason, I'll not be joining you this time tomorrow either. So
indeed,
apologies for that.
Have a safe flight and enjoy your holiday.
Thank you, and good luck everybody else with the rest of your challenge.
Great stuff.
But certainly I'll be following the rest of the challenge and picking up on it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Any other questions from anyone? Okay. You know where I am if you need me. You can always message me or send me an email. And I will see you on the call, some of you on the call tomorrow. And good luck with the posting tomorrow morning. And I'll send you the reminder first thing in the morning to remind you what to do, just to nudge you to get it going. All right, take care. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.